Okay, hey Rodney, Pete, we're in the end of our show, and Sabich, you should reload. If anybody's frozen, you should reload. We're in our second question answer period. We're gonna see how long this recording lasts. I'm gonna maybe delete a few more videos from last week. There's another good question it looks like, but let's answer that other one first. So how many politicians specifically, I can't really answer because I wasn't, I hadn't been counting.
Yeah. And we still don't know some details about the command structure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it also depends on who you count as a politician. Like, is Karl Rove a politician? Or...
Yeah, I think it might be reaching to go after any legislative guys. Congress didn't authorize torture.
I don't think it's reaching to go after somebody like Nancy Pelosi. Maybe that's just because I don't like her, but
there's certainly some issues there, and if it gets into issues about bribery and quid pro quos related to torture, that could certainly be grounds for a prosecution. And certainly in the Jane Harman case, it does appear that there are corruption issues connected with torture. So,
yeah, I mean, I would like to see people in suits and handcuffs, but since it's so far off that it's not happening yet, I haven't really.
It's actually occurred to me also that the Democrats might not want to do prosecution simply because they can bring up torture and then immobilize the Republican Party, because all they, once you mention torture, the Republicans are forced to attack you on torture, and it's kind of hard for them to say they're not racists when they're doing that,
right.
Which is a really big part of their decline right now.
Truth Paramount has a good question. Do you think Afghanistan will be able to stabilize in our lifetime? Well, in some ways it is stabilized. They have a steady culture of war. Somebody, I think I saw this on Real TV, somebody called it a Kalishnikov culture, and I think that's a brilliant way to put it. I hate to say that, but...
There's also the possibility that Afghanistan may split apart in our lifetime. The northern half of Afghanistan is basically stable, and it's because the non-Pashtuns really hate the Taliban. They're not really able to find people to operate with in a lot of northern areas.
Well, yeah, the fact is, Afghanistan, like Pakistan, has a lot of different ethnic groups, tribal groups, that would just as soon nationalize than be part of any kind of Afghani identity or Pakistani identity. So it could be stable, but not unless Obama does something different than what he's been doing. I'd like to have faith, but I just don't know. The next question, I think, is what do you think of Asian people? I like them.
Yep, there's, we live in a town with a large Asian population.
Yeah, I worked at a Thai restaurant, so I worked with a whole lot of Asians,
and of course I worked in a science department, so...
Yeah. And he's been to Asia.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things about Asian culture, and...
It's also a very general category, maybe if we could be more specific, but...
Yeah, because, some of the cooks were assholes, but some of the other people were nice.
I mean, there are slightly more Asians than non-Asians, so.
Anyway, I know that was a silly question, but I thought we'd humor you, and answer. Anyway, let's see. New. Oh no, the new background. It's just a tapestry because I'm in my living room now, actually in the dining room area, and that's my kitchen, and I've got dirty dishes, and I didn't want to show the dirty dishes, so that's what the new background is about. Do I believe in harsher punishment for online criminals such as hackers? I think it has to do with how much actual harm is done.
Yeah, it depends on which ones.
Yeah, if it's just somebody shutting down a corporation for a day, I'm not that concerned about that.
Yeah, and there's also there's also certain categories of online crime that the one that I believe in being the most harsh about actually does not involve break-ins at all. I think that we need to do something about these people that don't adequately protect confidential data. And the internet security is not, it's not really rocket science, you know. Like if you have reasonable precautions, you know, it's pretty difficult to get the information. You know, you store it encrypted at all times, you know, and just, you know, just these basic things. And I think that probably, you know, that in a lot of cases that people deliberately have lax security for personal information because that way they can tell people how to break into it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the stuff that happens online that should be followed up and prosecuted are the really harsh, like cyber stalking type things, or really serious abuse and bullying. This type of thing that if it happened in real life would easily be considered harassment. It's just hard to call up your local police and say you're being harassed by somebody in a different state.
Or country.
Or country, you know. I'd like to see, I mean, because, you know, like, if my neighbor was doing shit to me that some people do to other people online, I could easily call the cops and be protected. But it's just not like that. I don't remember the Black Ribbon campaign. Maybe Harry does.
Yeah, I don't remember it very well either.
What do we think of anarchy? I love the idea of anarchy, but I have yet to figure out how we're going to get there. I think that in order for anarchy to work, we need a massive change in the consciousness of human beings.
Yeah, and some elements of it, you know, are things that I'm in favor of.
Yeah.
You know, that one of the things about anarchy actually is that, you know, that the only way to really have no authority is for everyone to be the authority.
Right,
and you know that we all have a certain moral responsibility, and that of course the probably the main form of anarchy that we see in the world today, though, is actually Islamist anarchy, like they have in Somalia.
And then there's also things like the Rainbow Family and the drug universe, which actually were very closely. So I'd like to say that, you know, as far as anarchy actually working, if you're interested, you should look into the Rainbow Family, and you should look at the counterculture in the United States.
And you know, at a Rainbow Gathering, I've actually run into, you know, like law enforcement situations in anarchy. You know, people driving cars onto the site, you know, trying to get people to control their fires, things like that.
So yeah, we're sympathetic to anarchy, but we're not anarchists, if that answers the question. I have not read Days of War, Nights of Love. Have you read that?
No.
He says he downloaded an audio track. That means we perhaps could. I did not read Le Guin's The Dispossessed. I recently got my first Crowley. I got 777 and other Kabbalistic writings. I've been avoiding Crowley for over a decade because of him killing cats and that kind of shit, but I decided if I can read William F. Buckley, I can read Crowley, and I won't be perverted by it.
Actually, the comment about Somalia, that the Somaliland and Puntland actually control about half the territory of Somalia. So you know about half of the country actually is controlled by governments. And also, Somaliland and Puntland are Islamic states, so that they actually have Sharia law. You know, and I don't know their exact constitutional arrangements about it. You know, I should check to see if I can actually find, you know, they might have their constitutions online.
We've only got about a minute left in this section. Yeah, he killed cats. He did it in his magical rituals, not for food. And it's striking to me that somebody who is that mystically in tune and that advanced would have such a karmic dark blind spot. Like, obviously, that's karmically terrible.
Yeah, and I don't even support killing cats for food. They probably aren't very tasty.
So we're at the end of this section, but I'm going to push stop. And again, if this is the end, thank you all for coming. Thank you all who are here.
I mean, I can understand dogs, but...
we can stick around, too, and answer more questions.